what does this win mean for this young driver as he continues to look towards achieving his dream and working his way up through the NASCAR ranks?
It's huge to get it this early and to make that statement. Rajah Caruth is well on his way to advancing in the same way that we've seen, I believe in the way we've seen the likes of Jesse Love and those that have just gone by leaps and bounds ahead of where they're at currently. He's got some of the best equipment in the field. Hendrick Motorsports, essentially in the truck series, and of course you mentioned that HendrickCars.com partnership announced before this going into the Las Vegas weekend. So he's got that sort of financial backing there. It seems that Rick Hendrick thinks a lot of the 21-year-old, and this was just a historical weekend for NASCAR. Again, you've got Wendell Scott, Bubba Wallace, and now Rajah Caruth, a NASCAR top National Touring Series winner for the African American community, and that was just a really cool history piece there. But also, I just love Rajah Caruth's humbleness and the way he goes about in the garage and also into the media center, where he understands the significance of the moment, but he also understands, he seems to hope that one day this will just be seen as, also I'm just a driver. I won the race, and more. We hope that there will be a day when it can be more said that, that was just a great driver that went out there and dominated and had a great race. But it's great to celebrate these things now in their foundations.
Brandon, to your point that you just brought up, I remember listening to Sirius XM one day on my drive home, and I think one of the callers called into Dave Moody's show and mentioned, why do we talk about Bubba Wallace is the first black driver or second black driver after Wendell Scott to win a cup race, or Rajah Caruth mentioning that he is a black driver when he goes out and achieves something like this. And Dave Moody brought up the comparison with the NHRA and talked about their history with how many successful female drivers they've had. And when, Erica Enders or somebody wins in the NHRA today, they don't write the headline, female driver Erica Enders wins. It's just Erica Enders won in NHRA. Mm-hmm. And so eventually that is, what we hope to see here is, and NASCAR is taking great steps through the drive diversity to try to give opportunities to drivers such as Rajah Caruth to go out and achieve things like what Rajah did this weekend. And I think what he did this weekend is prove to everybody that, those drivers are out there and they have the talent necessary to get the job done. They just need that opportunity to be put in that position. And, with Rick Hendrick, especially, like I mentioned, signing that deal to extend HendrickCars.com to back him for the full year. And obviously with a great team at Spire Motorsports, teammates with Kyle Busch this weekend. You see Kyle fell back with some problems on pit road, but he was up there fighting against a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and the all-time leader in the Xfinity Series and Truck Series in race wins. And who better to learn from as a teammate? And, it's the point that we were just talking about not so long ago with Josh. I think this is where the pro-Bushwhacker argument comes into effect, is that you could say having Kyle out there, and especially as a teammate, in Rajah's case, certainly has only helped him with his development, and is good for him in the long run to have that opportunity. And what a great opportunity Rajah has, and he certainly has made the most of it to the start of this year. Yet to finish a race outside the top 10, even he is off to a fantastic start to this season. And as I mentioned briefly earlier, Brandon, again, not that Rajah had a bad year last year, but he certainly didn't look as strong as he has looked to start 2024. Now that he's moved over to Spire, are you surprised that we saw this moment this early, just 3 races into the year?
I think that his talent is finally matching up with his equipment. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think he still had the same amount of talent, yet, just a year with less experience with GMS in their final year in competition. And now finally getting to the Spire truck here with the Hendrick backing as it is. I think he's finally getting the truck that matches what he's capable of doing out there. So yeah, I am sort of surprised that it came soon. After, we look back at Daytona and he was really close there, but then again, I'm not surprised. I don't really know what I think I need to feel here because, he was so close to Daytona as well, just a a little miscue there coming out of 3. But then not really thought of much at Atlanta as far as I can recall. I don't recall exactly where he ended up there. We knew this victory was coming somewhere at this point in the season. At somewhere in the season, we just didn't know it was coming this early, which was it was a welcome surprise.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think I get what you're saying, and I think I'm in agreement with you there. I am a little. I didn't expect it to happen this soon, but if you look at the kind of the flashes of brilliance that Caruth has shown over the last couple of years here, obviously wasn't able to quite break through in ARCA, wasn't quite able to break through with GMS last year. But there were times last year where he showed a lot of speed and got caught up in an incident, or I think he was running a top 5 one race last year and had the engine let go or something like that, or lost a tire or something. So he has shown the speed. He has the speed to get the job done. It was just a matter of finishing the job, and he was able to do that here this weekend. And again, congratulations to Rajah Caruth. A great story, and hopefully the first of many. And Brandon, I know you've been talking in our grid private chat, looking a few years down the road for Rajah Caruth, and now with the HendrickCars.com backing that he has here, maybe a threat for the 48 entry in a few years' time. Do you think he could be a long-term contender, whether it's the 48 or any of those 4 cars? Do you think he might have a Hendrick Cup seat lined up in the future?
Absolutely. I think in Rajah's mind, which is, very well true, he drives for Hendrick Motorsports right now. I think that's exactly what his mindset is. And I think he's determined to stay that way. Hendrick Motorsports, I mean, they have the ride every now and then for the 17, the all-star car right now, as it were. And I think they've just announced kind of more what that picture will look like for this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him. That's the next place where we see him show up a time or two. And I mean, I have no basis at all really for this theory of the 48. I just look at, I just look at what else is happening at HMS right now. Larson, he's a perennial favorite in the 5, the champion. Chase Elliott, goodness gracious, he's the Dawsonville kid. He's not going anywhere until he decides to go. Most popular driver. And then William Byron, he's a future champion, Daytona 500 champion now. I don't think he's going anywhere until he decides to move or something goes very, very wrong. So I look at Alex Bowman. I see the few wins he's had with HMS. I feel like he's the first one on the chopping block if it comes down to it. And if Rajah Caruth keeps showing the persistence he has right now and he has the wins to back it up, you need to start looking out and taking a look at Alex Bowman's contract.
Yeah, I hate to say it because Bowman, I think, has won several Cup races and I think is a good driver, but it's kind of hard to deny at this point. And, Chase Elliott kind of the same way, although to your point, I don't think Chase Elliott's going anywhere anytime soon. And I think he's more likely to bounce back this year from his injury last year and kind of a down year that he had. And Alex Bowman is just based on what, the glimmers of speed that the teams have shown. It does seem like the 48 is maybe not a super distant 4th, but 4th nonetheless among those 4 entries. And again, not that the number means too much in the grand scheme of things, but if you ask Rajah Caruth, he will tell you that Jimmy Johnson was a hero of his growing up, and I'm sure he would absolutely be over the moon if he could get the opportunity to take that seat one day. Again, probably looking 3 to 5 years down the road, we'll see what his path exactly looks like. If he might have an Xfinity ride lined up next year. And Brandon, to your point as well, he did get that one start at Phoenix last year in that 17 car in the Xfinity Series, and it was just announced that Hendrick's 4 drivers are going to be running 9 races, and then Boris Said will come out for a 10th. He of course had that deal with the Roval not really work out last year, so good to see him get another opportunity.
Great. Yeah, that's great. By the way, going to Sonoma, the repaved Sonoma, and Boris Said couldn't be better.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'll be back out there again with Brock Beard and lastcar.info and can actually see that in person. But who knows? I mean, with how that car's been run, sometimes those deals, like the deal at Phoenix last year, coming together, at the last minute to run the last race. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Rick Hendrick doesn't decide to enter that car in a handful more races this year and get Caruth some seat time in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and it's just a really cool story too. And you know, my rumors, my rumor mill aside that I manufacture on my own, um, Rajah Caruth has been the way I see it. Whenever he was able to win, he's kind of like in the NASCAR YouTube community, the online community.
Sure, yeah.
He's basically one of us, and it's cool to see that out. It's not like a cult or something, but you know, just the overall general community.
We know what you mean. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, for the last several years, he's been in our you and I. He's been in our circles, and commented, has done online streams. He's been all over iRacing CB&A Fixed for forever, and to see someone from the community as it is, the online community, come up and win in one of the top 3 national series of the sport. Um, it feels like it's one of our one of our family members that's gone on and made it in a way.
Yeah, well, and again, to your point, he was our first ever guest here at this network on
Yeah.
Life on the Grid. So if you haven't checked out that interview that we did with him 3 years ago now, kind of hard to believe that it's been that long. But that just shows you how long people like us have had our eyes on this kid and his potential and everything. And again, great to see that potential realized this weekend. And as I think Adam said here in chat here, there we go. Hopefully for him and his path forward, the first of many this year, so that he can maybe get an opportunity lined up to run Xfinity in the next couple of years, and then the sky's the limit from there. And Kane's Cats Heat 305, again, another former guest on Life on the Grid, Miles Rowe. I'm sure we'll be talking about him quite a bit more this year in Indy next as they get prepared to get their season started. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah, I could see it, Ben, 2026, 27, Ally sticking around, chomping at the bit to be able to sponsor Rajah Caruth in a 48. It's a very real possibility. I could see that happening.